This podcast episode is sponsored by ChiefAIOfficer.com, offering training and certification through the International Association of Chief AI Officers. Interested in a new career or leveling up your value in the marketplace? ChiefAIOfficer.com can help. The following is an interview with Edwin Lisowski. Edwin is the co-founder of Adepto, a top AI consultancy recognized by Forbes alongside industry leaders like Deloitte. Since 2017, Adepto has been delivering cutting-edge AI solutions across industries, from natural language processing to generative AI. In this episode, we explore the evolution of AI adoption, how businesses can use AI agents to solve real-world problems, and the steps companies, large and small, can take to successfully integrate AI into their operations. We also dive into Edwin's perspective on the future of AI, including its potential to enhance decision-making and drive innovation. And let's begin. Welcome to Using AI at Work. I'm your host, Chris Daigle. Each week, we'll be learning how today's business owners, entrepreneurs, and ambitious professionals are getting more done with smart use of tomorrow's tech. Let's get started. All right, everybody. On today's episode, as I mentioned, we have Edwin Lisowski, the co-founder of Adepto, and doing some fascinating things and has been in the space for a while, phoning in from Warsaw today for this. So thank you for being on the podcast today. Edwin, tell everybody a little bit about kind of your journey to where you are today.
Of course, cool. So, Chris, first of all, thank you for inviting, and
My
it's
pleasure.
a pleasure to be here, as AI is a close topic to me and to my company. So we are with AI for a while. I mean, we've started company in 2017, and since then we were deploying different AI solutions to our clients. So as you also, Chris, noticed, we've been a while before ChatGPT was even introduced into the market. So we see how this technology was emerging for all the last years and how basically that being adopted today as well. Yeah.
So how long have the operations been, I guess, in Warsaw and New York? When did you open your New York office?
I mean, since beginning, we've partnered with some people who are based in United States. So our goal was basically, bringing our talent from Europe to United States overseas. So we can collaborate with, recognized brands and big companies in US.
And I noticed that you guys have been working with some very large companies, and an article I saw in Forbes from, again, before GPT 3.5 was released, you guys were on a list with some very heavy hitters like Deloitte on the top 10 AI consultancies. So how did that happen? And that's quite an accomplishment.
I mean, we see that also the work that small companies as Adepto are doing can be also recognized. Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
And the one thing I would like to mention is we usually, in some tenders or, public RFPs or the project tenders, we compete with such large players. Yes.
Nice.
And Adepto in some cases is selected because of its, expertise, agility, as well as, how we approach topics in a very fast manner, as we are a small, agile, and very fast company. And we usually, bring this approach and bring our, flexibility into our clients' projects as well.
Are there any particular industries or categories of product that you guys like to focus on?
I would say yes and no. We've been partnering with very different industries, starting, for example, from real estate, going through retail, manufacturing, entertainment industries, but
Wow.
also partnering with such interesting industries like aviation, airlines, aerospace. So it's really,
Very
really,
cool.
very different verticals and industries. Yeah.
Great. So, as I mentioned before we got on the phone, my particular interest in, I think the gateway drug for a lot of people into AI is the generative side of things. Now, you guys have been doing way more advanced stuff than the average user for sure. And what I'm particularly interested in is, when did you start to pay attention that generative? First off, did you have any idea that generative AI's application would be adopted? So, to me, it seems like it's everywhere, but I know that we kind of live in a bubble of the AI space. And also, like, when did you first notice that this is something that we really need to pay attention to?
The people who are in the industry for some time, they were aware of companies such as OpenAI. Before introducing ChatGPT, OpenAI had some kind of libraries, I could say, that we were using in our development or projects. They call just GPT,
Yeah.
And ChatGPT is an interface to the product or project we were building for years before introducing in 2022. Yeah, we as a company paid attention to the generative things again. I think since the company's beginnings, as even then we were like, it called a little bit different. Yes, we called such projects natural language processing project, natural language generation project, and in those solutions weren't so smart as ChatGPT today, but this solution solve very concrete small problem related to text or natural language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even before that, we were aware of such technology, but really the perceptions of what is possible with this technology changed when the ChatGPT was introduced to market.
Okay, this is interesting. So, I'm a non-technologist, and as a matter of fact, when ChatGPT was released, I knew instantly, wow, huge opportunity, but not for me because I don't know technology, right? Like, I'm more of a business, business operations, business growth and scale. So, the initially I was a little. I wasn't that interested, honestly. But you guys, I guess you were there before even the GPT paper came out at Google, and you guys were already in AI. So you've been really witnessing this from an experiment, a theory, to an experiment, to a more interesting experiment, to really something that's established itself, let's say, at this point, right?
Yeah. That's accurate. And I mean, this is how things were moving. I mean,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, like the Google and OpenAI and all the large companies were working on such technologies for years. Yeah. And we were just using that to solve like minor problems or
Sure.
smaller problems. Today, with this technology that's already introduced into the market, we are capable to solve bigger, larger scale problems. Yeah.
We'll talk about the actual impacts of what that looks like in before you were able to use these smarter versions of these tools and after. But I'm interested, has your client base changed at all since there's now this kind of more accessible version of AI?
I would say not really.
Uh-huh.
The only thing we've noticed that, as I said, some people were not believing in AI before ChatGPT. I mean,
Yeah.
it was kind of, okay, AI, this is maybe statistics, maybe some rules, maybe some coding, software engineering plus data. That was AI, before ChatGPT, and all of that was about predictive analytics, just predicting some things like demand forecasting, churn prediction, computer vision stuff, like detecting objects, people faces, recognizing some images, and moving to the text processing. ChatGPT showed to the whole world basically how powerful is technology. Yes. And we were capable to do a lot before ChatGPT was introduced, but the challenge was also to, make people believing in it. But now people become more creative when it comes to AI because they see in real life applications or actions how ChatGPT is powerful.
Yeah, as you were saying that, I was thinking about that. Prior to what happens if you're not a technologist, you're just a business professional going about your day, and you're not involved in the architecture, the application of the technical side. It's a black box, and you don't even understand that it just gave you this business intelligence, right? But when it's in your face, when it's on your phone, when it's in your car, when it's on your screen, and anyone can say, hey, I'd like to build an app that does blank. And that simple interface allows the technology to, again, I'm not saying that they're on parity with a PhD in computer engineering. However, that has certainly expanded the awareness in the general public about this quote unquote artificial intelligence. People have all kinds of ideas about what that means and what it means for the future and that sort of thing. So it's fascinating. We don't normally get people with as strong of a technical background as you on the podcast. And I have a lot of questions about that because my position in business, at least, is that for most businesses that are hearing about AI, machine learning isn't the top of their list. It's, hey, how do we do this faster with fewer resources or whatever? So a lot of times I don't even pay much attention to the technical side because I know if they need that, we've got resources. Hell, now we'll call Adepto and send you guys if you want the business. But this is interesting. So the clients that you already have, I would imagine that they've been gaining benefit, obviously, from the work that you've done. But now that they're seeing these things, is there a lot of repeat business? Are they saying now we want to introduce it into operations or now we want to introduce it into product design or anything like that?
Yes, I would say yes, because when we see what is capable within, again, ChatGPT, you can think of a lot of use cases, but still in a limited way. Because you're limiting to the possibilities of what you already tried, used, and you can imagine, okay, what kind of business problems I can solve with such tool. So today use cases are very repetitive, but with some unique solutions for some industries or departments. Yes. And let just give you an example. After GenAI was introduced, all the companies started building internal knowledge-based chatbots. So everyone will start asking questions about the company, about compliance, procedures inside
for internal use, employees accessing internal knowledge. Yeah.
But now it's starting, expanding, evolving a little bit, and we starting adopting that to a niche specific, use cases or business problems. Like, okay, what if AI can read our internal knowledge, internal database, documentation? And what if this documentation is very complex? Like it's engineering documentation with the code, maybe some graph, architecture, maybe some technical design. What if we can, using that data, start generating more complex information, like
Makes sense.
technical documentation, engineering documentation, simulations documentation? Yeah. What if we can start drawing architectures or very complex technical details using AI? Yeah. Those are very, I would say, more complex use cases. Those use cases take more time to implement, but those use cases bring a real business value.
Yeah.
Not just, having and chatting with my company documents.
Yeah.
Bring more real value and automate complex but repetitive work.
I guess I hadn't considered that before. So just to feed you back what I heard, the easiest step for them was access to internal information. Oh, where do I find this? Or an HR policy or whatever, right? And then you're saying that because it had access to that knowledge, the next step was that it wasn't just request retrieval environment. It now, hey, I've got all this information. Let me start applying intelligence to what I've got in my database to identify, hey, maybe this. Oh, we shouldn't be doing this. All of that stuff. Is that, I guess I had never really thought about that
So
ascension.
it started becoming a real human agent. I mean, it's not replacing the humans, but it's like real human augmented intelligence. And it's really augmenting the work that we are doing on a daily basis. Yes.
Huh. Interesting. So what are some of the, I guess, the standard stuff, if there's a business that's out there that is, in your opinion at least, I know you have the stronger technical background, but for somebody that had never considered that they had either the environment to deploy AI or the budget to deploy it or the talent to deploy it, and now that that's changed, what would you suggest to a business owner who is saying, well, where do I start?
I would say start small but big, but think big.
Okay.
So you always should consider some like larger or bigger vision for your AI, strategy. But I would never recommend to start so big, because you should start with some smaller use cases, adopting AI in a very simple, workflows or procedures, and as well making sure your talent pool in the company and the people are ready for this AI adoption. Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So you never should forget about the people who are inside the company, and because these people would be adopting this AI. Yes. And the goal is here for them to not be afraid of the technology, but rather being open for adopting this technology.
How do you guys address that particular part about the change management, about the employee concerns?
Yeah, I would repeat again, AI is not here to replace us. AI is to support how we make decisions, how we make things faster, better, with higher quality, so that people can concentrate on a more complex decision making and can start just boosting our performance. Yeah. So that's to boost our performance today.
Yeah. So for the audience listening, to you and I, this is an exotic application. Like, oh my gosh, it's capable of doing all these things. To Edwin, you know what's really going on. You were there before this was launched. You understand it at a way deeper level. So if you're not scared, we shouldn't be scared, right? Like as far as it replacing you. And I think that, I'll tell you, I hear that a lot. AI is to augment, and it's not here to take our jobs and that sort of thing. My counter to that is beware of someone who knows how to use the tools. That's the more likely replacement for you, right? But I guess I just thought it was lip service from the media and things like that. But coming from somebody who has a deep understanding of what the true capabilities are, been there, for a while. If you're saying that, then I think there's a lot more credibility to that statement, because it would make sense, obviously, for anybody who's an AI enthusiast to say, "Oh, don't worry, it's not going to take your job," even if they had some concerns or they knew that it wouldn't behoove the perpetuation of AI in the business and that sort of thing. But to hear you actually say that's not how you guys see it at all, I think gives that statement, again, more credibility. So, aha moment.
A good point, and good, that you said, Chris, like, we should be more scared of the people who are capable to use AI, in their work at scale, rather than just, be afraid of AI. Yes.
Yeah.
So the people who are capable of using it and are, capable of adopting AI for their day-to-day work are really, the people of the future. Yeah.
If you're enjoying this episode and want to learn more about how to start using AI at work, we've made it easy for you. For just $1, you can have full access to the Chief AI Officer community, which will give you additional training, custom software, daily training calls on AI tools, using AI automations, getting more from your ChatGPT sessions, and the business of being an AI consultant. Simply go to chiefaiofficer.com/insiders to accelerate your AI journey. Now, back to the episode.
Yeah, they're going to get more done. They're going to get it done faster, and they're going to get it done at higher quality. Yeah. So I guess at a minimum, that would be the recommendation for people, is learn this not because it's exotic and it's shiny object or anything like that, or because you can do the fun stuff, make songs, make pictures, whatever. That's great. But really consider this application, as the title of this podcast suggests, on how to use it at work, right? So,
yeah.
Do you guys, when you go into a company, is there AI strategy? When I say strategy, I'm talking about the context of, okay, the business has a strategy and someone has evaluated where does AI disrupt it? Where does AI enhance it? By the time you guys get involved in companies, has that conversation already happened internally, or do you participate in that conversation?
I think both.
Because you're dealing with big companies, right? Like
I mean, in some cases, we are engaged into these conversations from very beginning. Okay. I mean, because some of the companies would like to hear this outside advisory, like to hear this the company outside the organization, and to make sure they are not making the mistakes that other companies made, for example.
Sure. Yeah.
And we can advise on how to start in a better, faster, and smoother way. In some cases, this strategy already, created, designed, and also influenced by people inside the company, because a lot of also big companies employ very talented people.
Sure.
Who experienced in AI and can also guide that these companies, inside. In both cases, we take and participate in some conversations, and we advise, how to make less mistakes while adopting AI.
So just for context, the average business that you deal with, where are they in the strata of enterprise down to small to medium business?
I think 80 or 70% of our clients are like enterprises.
Yep. Okay. Nice. So obviously they have bigger budget, access to talent like you guys, like Deloitte, like other, big consultancies that the firms below them can't afford, and just there is a limited amount of talent on the marketplace anyway, so they just can't get access to it, right? So what advice would you have for those companies? Because same thing, they have some talent in their business for sure, but they don't have the big budgets to access the recognized thought leaders necessarily.
I would repeat, think big, start small. You can really think of very small and I would say repetitive use cases and workflows that can be automated very quickly without, those big budgets, long timelines, etc. You really need just to understand your business and challenges and the problems and the pain points inside the company, and just try to map how AI can influence each of them. Yes. Because it's not really about creating custom solutions today.
Yeah.
It's really in 90% use cases, it's really understanding what is our pain point and how we can solve that with the available technology.
That's great advice. So you mentioned computer vision earlier, and when I was checking out what Adepto does, that's an area of operation for you guys as well, correct?
Yeah.
How does that intersect with what your client, like, is that a completely different client than the enterprise side, or is it usually, because you mentioned aerospace, you mentioned aviation, that makes a lot of sense, but how about some of these other industries?
The computer vision, it's a vertical of the technology. I mean, it's like, it's the part of AI. This is where we just, not analyze the text or read text. We analyze images, or we teach computers to see as humans see. Yeah. And there is also a bunch of different use cases. I would say in such industries like, for example, manufacturing, where computer vision is making a real impact when it comes to the production quality assessment, when it comes to the logistics part, when it comes to the adopting also smart robots into manufacturing processes or some of the workflows. So there is a really different, a bunch of different applications of computer visions that can be adopted also on your operations. Yeah.
Yeah, you're operating. You're definitely applying artificial intelligence in a much broader spectrum than I am. Fantastic. So this is making a lot of sense to me because, like, when I go into a business, I'm looking again to impact SG&A, sales, general, administrative, OpEx, things like that. Not necessarily such creative application of what you guys are doing. So it makes perfect sense that, of course, AI could power computer vision that could identify the smallest defect in a chip or something like that. When I get into that scenario, I'll give you a call.
Yeah.
So because it may come up. So I'm interested in how you guys are interacting with the clients beyond the technical side of things, and in particular, do they know what they need when they reach out to you, or are they saying, "Hey, come in here and tell us where it can work"?
Both scenarios.
Yeah.
Both scenarios, because it really depends on what is their maturity level when it comes to the data in AI. And we are not talking here about the whole company usually.
Right.
It's rather how this particular department or business unit, which is reaching out to us, is, ready for the AI or its usage. So, And we basically cover both scenarios. In first, we came in and we look at the data, we look at the process, and we say, okay, this and this and this can be automated with that and that technology. In second case, we come as a technical implementation expert, and we say, okay, this problem can be solved with this technology. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. I'd be fascinated to sit in on some of those meetings because, again, the new user, like, to them, it's typing or talking to a device and getting thought deliverables, not necessarily the physical nature of the things that you guys are working with, like computer vision. It's pretty fantastic. AGI is one of those topics that certainly the stated mission of a number of the companies out there to pursue and achieve AGI. What do you think the timeline is before we see something to the point? Because, and I'll tell you from a business context, Edwin, I'll tell you, there's been a lot of chatter about agents from the release of, like, I don't know, early 2023, but nowhere near the capability. There's autonomous agency in particular, right? 2024, there's companies out there that say that they create agents and they have agentic activity, but they're not autonomous agents, right? And 2025, from the business perspective and the conversations I hear, it seems that the word agent has entered the vocabulary a lot more, but also an expectation. People getting into this are expecting that autonomous agency, which does not exist as far as maybe in a few rare cases, but not, commercially available mainstream to the average user. What do you think is a realistic kind of scenario related to timeline on capabilities of that type?
Yeah, I mean, we expect 2025 to be the year where we will see this real disruption and maybe a real change from what we saw in 2022.
Yeah.
So 2025, I mean, we expect to see a really, really differently behaving model capable of more, activities and than we saw starting 2022. Yeah.
Yeah.
We still do not expect that to be a fully autonomous AI. Yes. We still expect to be that limited. And we still believe that will need some adoption. What I mean by saying adoption, that means that the solutions that we will see will be capable of doing a lot, but with the proper instructions, proper, coding, and with properly fed data. Yes. But I don't see yet to be that, fully autonomous, general artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Okay, this was a helpful question because now, we're at the level of artificial neurointelligence. I can ask it something; it can do a very specific output. So this would be a way for people to look at it might be that the term agent and its application in 2025 is just a more robust application of narrow intelligence. Yeah. Okay. So folks, if you are expecting agents to be that situation where you can just type something in and it takes it full stream down the, runs the ads, writes not there yet. However, Edwin, the architecture of that would probably be a series of agents that were chained together or in a flow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you should think of agentic approach of something like understanding your query in a way that it can divide that into smaller tasks. It can run those tasks. It can make a decision while running these tasks and get back to you with some result. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's really what we have today, but it's really needs human control. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But what we expect, it's still we will have to build these chains of, agents. And as I said, we need to feed them with proper, for example, business data to make good business decisions. Yes. Or decisions that are in the chain of actions. Yeah. It can be easier to build agent that can shop for you because
sees your patterns.
It's the obvious task when it comes to the consumer action, but it always will be more difficult to make sure AI can make proper and very good business decision. Yeah, as soon as it doesn't have this big picture and context.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Because different than the conversation that we had at the beginning, which was create the bot with access to the company's information. Oh, wait a minute. I've got this pool of information. How can I act upon it intelligently? The difference is that we're now going to be in these smaller, discrete environments where it won't have all of that external context within which to consider its next action or its step. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Ah.
All the decisions that agents will be doing should be based on some context and data. And when it comes to the company data or its decision making, it's really huge context. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of data. It's a bunch of conversations.
Yeah.
A bunch of meetings, etc. Yes. So, we moving small steps to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are moving to the place where AI will really take this whole huge, I can call it knowledge graph, maybe. Yes.
Yeah.
So like information structured in a way that machine can understand properly.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, take some of the decisions. But I think it still will take some time, to be in this place.
So again, not being a technical expert, let me see if I get this architecture right, or tell me if this tracks with logic. Based on what you've said, it seems like the best case scenario for a company would be that they would have essentially their own LLM with agents operating, powered by whatever model, but the data set would be weighted towards their internal information. So you could still benefit from the agents, but it's not drawing from the 34 billion parameters or whatever in Llama. It's drawing, could be, but it's at least more specifically or initially considering the company's data.
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole company's data is structured, for example, in a knowledge graph, and its knowledge graph represents like companies' brains. Yeah. And with some neurons, connections, relations.
Yeah.
So machine interprets that very precisely. And it really knows where and how to make those proper decisions.
So, man, I do these podcasts. Honestly, I do them for the audience more than I do myself because I feel very comfortable in the narrow application that I do, generative AI and business operations and stuff like that, right? This conversation has been outside of my normal dialogue because it's forced me to introduce technical considerations that I just don't normally have a need to, right? And I'm not wired that way to be interested in the technical nature of things. However, I can tell you that this conversation has led me to have a couple of ahas for sure related to the this concept, this paradigm of agents, AI agents, right? Like the clarity of the fact that autonomy is not expected or even necessary or inaccurate in the term agent. That was a big one for me because I was, and then this understanding of, there's plenty, the relevance AI and crew AI, there's fantastic tools out there for the average user to be able to do some stuff, right? But I hadn't considered, oh my gosh, if I isolate or weight the data towards my own company's data, the absence of, there's no longer the absence of this context-specific intelligence, which I don't get if I go use an off-the-shelf, right? If I go pay $39 or $99 a month for some sort of yes, I can get agency activity, but it is like baby steps compared to what you're able to do when you're specifically targeting or weighting, again, the data training on, wow, that was, to you, that may be basic stuff, but to me, that was actually a big aha. I understand it a lot better now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, AI is exciting field. Yeah. And it's really evolving a lot in those last years. And we hope, to see that will be adopted more and more. Yeah.
So do you, in particular in 2025, do you expect to be, I don't know, what do you expect to be doing a lot of, you and your team, in 2025 related to AI?
Yeah, I think agentic approach to solving some real business problems would be the main topic. Maybe not from the beginning of 2025, but I would rather see as AI in 2025, not just, like input-output solution, like giving a prompt and getting the output, but rather making some decision or action in the background.
Mm-hmm. Nice. This has been fantastic. Hey, so as you've seen, I had an aha moment, which I love. We call it when people start thinking in AI, right? They make that, oh, wow, can I do this? That happened on this call. So thank you very much for that, Edwin, for me personally. How do you produce a lot of, or does your company produce a lot of research or thought leadership or anything? Because I would like to follow the progress on this with your company.
Yes, we are. We are producing regular newsletters and white papers on our findings. Mm-hmm. We also doing our own research on how companies are using AI in their businesses. Not always related only to our client base, but also outside of our client base, but rather looking on the market in general to give to the market this general overview.
Yeah.
And we really invest a lot in R&D internally, as we have our own R&D department where we build and test, a lot, the technology which is available on the market. Basically to understand and get this feeling what is possible with this technology.
Is that what we can start plugging into that research would be at Adepto, your company's website? Okay. Wow. Well, awesome, man. Thank you so much for dialing in and taking the time out of your day. I imagine you're probably pretty busy, and the time zone for sure. Again, this has been, I've got a lot to think about, Edwin. Any closing remarks for the audience?
AI is exciting, really. And we live in really exciting world today. And I hope, that our conversation also inspires, your listeners.
Nice.
How to use and how to think, about AI. and maybe, they can also start exploring, what is the possible in how they can just plug in that in their daily lives.
Yeah.
Well, think big, start small. And that would be my, final remark here.
Man, that was great advice. And again, I had a couple of perspective shifts because this conversation is out. Like, I don't have enough. I've got a great knowledge base on the operational and business side, the tactical, like the tactile side of business, not so much on the technical. And this has been a gift. Thanks so much, buddy.
Thank you, Chris.
Talk soon.
Thanks for tuning in to Using AI at Work. Don't forget to subscribe for more conversations about how to use AI at work. And a special thank you to our sponsor, Chief AI Officer, for empowering businesses with AI education and training. Visit their website for a free AI readiness assessment and AI strategy guide to help you get started using AI at work. That's www.chiefaiofficer.com. Special thanks to our producer, Evan Desaulnier, for making this episode possible. Follow us on Twitter at the handle Using AI at Work, and visit www.usingaiatwork.com for free resources to help you harness AI in your role.